Now, the other player that I think I told you there was two that
Yes.
the hinge. The other one, just being honest, hey, I don't give a hill of beans about. Just being honest. And I tell him that, and if you Google him, if you anybody that knows him know exactly what I'm saying, and it's documented. But that Bill Romanowski is
Yeah.
a dirty, dirty, steroid-inducing dude that had no excuses for what he did. Charles did, but Bill
Yeah.
Romanowski did not. And you know what? And even today, he fires me up because there was a personal situation him and I had in the locker room one time.
I heard.
And
I didn't want to ask you about it. I wasn't
no,
going to
I
bring it
want
up,
you to.
but I did
I
see
want.
it.
I want you to ask me because I wish Colin. What is the Herd show or
Colin
whatever?
Cowherd. He was on
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd.
I
Basically, was over a sandwich in a
if
microwave.
if he's watching this, he needs to
Yeah.
have me on his show because I remember when I coached at Florida State from 2007 to 2010. I was a running backs coach, and one of my players brought in his book one day and said, "Hey, coach, what is this?" So I had to explain it then. Then years later, he goes on the Herd show and he tells the story. And you know what? He's telling it wrong. The only thing he got right is that it had to do with the microwave. And I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
exactly what it was. You know what? We all used to at least two or three things we could put in the microwave. Everybody did it. You just restart it. Okay. And then you take yours out whenever it's done. Well, I did the same thing that we did every single day. And I put mine in there and he took it out, and I, in my mind, I'm thinking that's got to be a mistake. He must not, he just don't know because he took mine out. So I opened it back up, put it in there, and he said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm warming up my food." He said, "Well, I don't want yours in there with mine." Now I've got my left hand on the microwave door. He's to my left. He's to my left. You're right. Okay.
Hmm.
And literally, when I say, when he says I don't want it in there, and I was like, I kind of gave him the like that. Did he rush me? He absolutely did. And he did. He's 6'4", 250 pounds. I'm 5'10", 170. So I
Yeah.
got the microwave. He comes from my elbow side and he rushes me like this. Now it was a table behind me. So I fell back on the table. As soon as I fell back, all the guys came in and stopped it. Now, as he rushed me, the door broke off the microwave and it's in my hand. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, as he, he what he said, "Oh, I choked Dexter Carter. I had him up on the wall." A
Yeah.
wall was never involved in it, ever. He never threw the microwave. Matter of fact, I threw the dang on door at him. Matter of fact, when those boys, my teammates came and broke it up, it happened that quick. And I kind of went crazy. I'm,
Yeah. I
I
don't
kind
blame you. I don't blame you. I mean,
of,
the thing with Romanowski, I mean, he was in that era, and I know the guy's he's a clown, like you said, steroid. He spit on a player. He
yeah.
spit on a player. JJ Stokes, I believe it was, a 49er. So he's a classless guy, and I was doing some research on you, and that one came up, and I'm like, heck, that sounds, I didn't
Yeah.
know what to believe because he's a liar, but I didn't want to bring it up because I don't want to give him any attention. But that's why I just,
You know what?
oh,
Absolutely. But
yeah,
I want to make sure, people know how I feel about him. And you know what? As I said, when you Google him, you know what? It's clear he's one of the nastiest players to ever play in this league. And you know
yeah,
what? And if he didn't take steroids, which he was always a step ahead of the system, he would have probably never played as long as he did. But anyway, it is what it is. But
yeah,
but what's interesting is after that situation, again, just like the Charles and Jerry situation, word gets upstairs pretty quick. So word got upstairs. He called me and Bill up to his office, and this is what he said initially. He said, "Bill, and he said you seem to have always had a problem with Dexter in training camp because running backs always block linebackers,
yeah,
and I was squatting 600 pounds in high school, touching the chair and back up. when I left Florida State, I was squatting 700. So I had quads on me, right? So at 5'10", 170, you think I can't block. And that's what Buddy Ryan and the scouts saw at the Senior Bowl. So every year, every training camp, we always have to block linebackers throughout the day. And it was quickly shown that I was the best, if not one of the two best blockers against them, because all you got to do is have leverage, balance, and angles,
Mhm.
and stud them. All you got to hold them is 1001, 1002. By the time 1002.5 come, if they're bigger than you, they throw you out of the way.
Yeah.
By that time, the quarterbacks either step up, thrown the ball or gotten out of the pocket. Well, he used to be pissed off and mad, and George Seifert said it. He said in training camp, you always seem to pick a fight, and he did. We used to get in a fight every single training camp, but fights last about that long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And thank goodness, because he's freaking bigger than me, But George Seifert pointed it out and said, you know what? That needs to cease right now. And he never did it again. So he did what he thought he could get away with.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, you know what? You wanted to ask about it, you didn't. And I'm glad I brought it up, because now you and everybody on your show, if they ever come across it, they know, one, he's a jerk. Number two, your boy Dexter Carter wasn't scared.
Well, I'll make sure I clip it up.